and then your complete set of mistakes will be
You need a voice.
will be done. Yeah.
Oh, Andy, you can do the voice.
Sure. Oh, Andy or me?
Welcome to.
Oh, wait.
Go
No,
ahead.
sorry,
Go
Andy
for it, Andy.
Moon. Anthony thought I said Anthony, and I said Andy. Andy Moon, go for it.
All right, take two. Welcome to Office Hours. This is April 24th, 2025, and we have some wonderful co-hosts for you. They are...
Hello, everybody. My name is Heather Cox, and with me today is the fabulous... He is joining us from Oz. Please introduce yourself.
Anthony Wallace here.
Oh, that's Anthony. Okay.
Anthony, he's in Oz. See, we've got Wicked behind him.
You recognize.
You're going to have to go see the movie, okay? But we are also very excited to have Steve with us, straight from the Renaissance Fair. Steve, I was really excited about the title. Lesser Mortals. I think that that's enticing. So, Steve, the floor is entirely yours.
All right. Thank you very much. And hello, all 180 of you here on the call. Yeah, I probably should explain a little bit about what I'm going to get into here for a second. So I'm going to do briefly a corporate thing and share my screen. So I'm going to attempt to accomplish that. Just while I'm doing that, hi, I'm Steve. I am a CSAM, used to be called TAMS. You probably have one of me in your accounts. And I work in education out in the West Coast in Flagstaff, Arizona. So I'm coming to you from 7,000 foot elevation on my Starlink connection, and just excited to be here today to talk about this topic right here. Copilot agents for lesser mortals, trying to make AI work for us right now. And I'm going to admit up front, this is going to be a confessional session. This is my journey that I'm sharing with you today to try to find my way through AI here at Microsoft. This is probably an unconventional talk that you're going to get from Microsoft today. And I also feel safe in doing so because I'm well surrounded. I see from the participation list.
It helps. I'm not supposed to do non.
I see from the
office.
I see the. Hold on, I'm gonna mute somebody here. Can I do that? Yes. All right. Thank you. I see from the participation list already that there's a lot of smart people from Microsoft that are going to back me up on some things here. So I'm very comfortable diving into what I'm going to talk about with you today. Because here's the thing. Why has Heather allowed me to come talk to you today? Why me today? And quite frankly, you might ask the question yourself, why me today? Why am I listening to another Copilot agent talk? Who cares about Copilot agents? I can go see lots of promotional materials about this. So here's my confession to you. As a Microsoft employee that's been eating my own dog food as a part of the company for months, if not a year and a couple months around Copilot and AI as it's beginning to transform our business and as well as potentially yours, I don't get it yet. I'm not a really big Copilot user. M365 Copilot and me, we just haven't figured it out yet. We're still in the early dating phase. The dinners haven't gone well. I haven't figured out how to talk to it really well yet. It isn't giving me what I think I need yet. So frankly, I'm a little bit of a cynic when it comes to it. And so it's weird for me to be here today. But I stumbled into agents maybe 3 weeks, no, probably 2 months ago, now. I met with a colleague that figured out agents. I said, if I don't get on board with this somehow, I'm probably going to lose my job. So I got to figure out some place to participate in the Copilot universe. Now, you might be in the same place that I am, right? Where you haven't figured out the real value proposition of Copilot, M365 Copilot. Maybe you're still dancing with ChatGPT and Copilot for with data protection, our Copilot chat tool now. And you're trying to figure out where's the value for me, okay? So I'm hoping that part of my journey today, sharing with you something about what I've learned about agents recently from a lesser mortal perspective, right? I'm not a developer. I used to be in the past, used to be a Lotus Notes guy, for those of you who have been around IT long enough to know what that is. So my development chops were cut there, and then I disappeared into account management along the way. So this is part of my journey, figuring out how can I make AI personal for me? How can I make it work better for me? And in the process, I'm actually kind of getting smarter in how to interact with this thing. So it's not all darkness, but leading into this, I've been kind of struggling figuring out how to make Copilot valuable for me. So I don't have the team screen up. So if there's any here, I'm going to put it over here on this screen. If you guys kind of vibe with that, where it's been sort of a struggle to learn how to prompt, to learn the use cases where it goes, can you throw up some thumbs up or hearts or emojis or something? And if I'm alone in this, that's fine. Then we'll just go on the journey. But I'm seeing the occasional thing. Now, what that tells me is that you guys are nerds and you're diving into this. So you might even be ahead of me. So hopefully I'll be able to share with you some stuff that makes some sense to extend your Copilot agent journey. So let's talk briefly about what an agent is. If you were in one of our high-powered AI agent presentations that have happened even recently, you'd see a definition something like this. You'd see an AI agent is software. It's just software. It's a program designed to run autonomously and interact with its environment, collect data, perform tasks, and then these agents can start getting smarter, making rational decisions, right? This is the optimistic, the advanced definition of an agent. I'm gonna skip that briefly, right? We're not gonna work with that definition for today's thing. We have to dumb this down for me, because again, I'm a lesser mortal. So this is what we're gonna work with today as far as a definition for what an agent is. So for today's session, an AI agent is going to be a useful point solution that helps you doing repeatable tasks more quickly and elegantly than you just doing them on your own manually, or maybe approaching Copilot on your own. It's also a useful way to make AI personally useful and contextually relevant. And for me, that's been the big deal for me in this journey. I have found a crack in my own armor to be able to figure out how to use things. Oh, Tyler, that's a great quote. Yes, this is the droid you're looking for. It completely is. So that's where I'm hoping to land this presentation, that you're going to take away that figuring out how to do Copilot agents is easy and straightforward enough for you to be able to practice interacting with AI systems within the Microsoft ecosystem. These talents can be obviously used in lots of different places. I'm going to focus on Copilot agents. And implicitly, one of the reasons why that you want to focus on this as a potential pathway for your user communities that you all support is that even if you don't own M365 Copilot licensing, you can still play in this ecosystem. This ecosystem is more aligned with the Copilot chat or Copilot with data, enterprise data protection. That ecosystem, that version of Copilot is available if you're in M365 at all, right? Regardless of whether you have the Copilot license. So agents can be leveraged in this place that you may have more ready access to. The M365 Copilot license expands your capability. It makes some parts of it free, right? Because you've bought into the M365 Copilot world. But you don't need that to get started. Everything I show you today, if you have a Microsoft, an M365 credential, you can do this right now. You probably could go do it while I'm talking. So let's talk briefly about what's an agent, right? It's software. It uses the models, right, that we've all gotten used to talk about, and more advanced version of agents. You can pick the model you use. Obviously, we just use a Copilot agent in the Microsoft ecosystem. We're going to be using the Copilot large language model to converse with it. So when you're interacting with it, sending it prompts, you're using the large language model that Microsoft has developed. We don't train on your data, but it's available for you to leverage to be able to interact with. So it translates your prompts and then formulates the responses back through those models. The fun part with an agent is the left-hand side of this screen. In an agent, you can specify what knowledge bases, what knowledge sources you want it to draw from. So this can be as specific of a point solution, or it could be the entire internet, assuming some responsible AI controls on it that Microsoft delivers through our AI engines. But the knowledge base that you use could be broad or it could be very specific, tailored to what you're trying to accomplish. And then the actions on the right side, you get to create descriptions within these agents to start to format and formulate how you want this agent to respond. So imagine you sitting in front of Copilot on the web and you just have a thing, you just need to type a prompt in yourself. You have to kind of tell it all of those things in that prompt. I want you to talk like a college professor. I want you to format this in bullet lists and points. I want you to consider all of these data sources. And every time you go back to use Copilot, and the same goes for ChatGPT and any AI large language model, generative AI tool that you're using, you have to tell it. You have to tell it how to interact. And it may have memory over time. It may not. If this is the first time you're using one of those tools, you have to be very specific. And it helps to know how to prompt. Agents let you build a lot of that right into it from scratch, which is one of those things that I like because I'm ambitiously lazy. As an ex-developer from many years ago, I like building that stuff in ahead of time and then just leveraging it along the way. So you're going to see that. I'm going to show you very quickly how I built one of my favorite agents, how I focus it on a specific knowledge base, and I've painted the picture of how I want it to build responses, and then it just works with me to do that. Okay, here we go. We're going to the live demos. All right, so here I am in copilot.microsoft.com, which for me resolves to m365.cloud.microsoft. It might for you. I don't know if that's the corporate side of things. Couple things to focus on here. First of all, this is the website version, right? If you go through your browser, you will come here if you go to copilot.microsoft.com. It also turns out that this screen is real similar to this interface, which is my Windows 11 interface. If I click Copilot down in the bottom corner in my toolbar now, and if you have any mostly recently updated Windows 11 version, it's going to look very similar. Now, it happens that the Microsoft Preview version I'm looking at here, you can see it says Preview in the corner. It's got the nav bar on the left. I haven't even figured out if I can control that, but that's the only difference. The nav bar is on the left versus the web version is out here on the right. If I popped open Teams, it would show the web version as well, and everything would look like this. So if you were to go to copilot.microsoft.com right now, this is what would show up. Another subtle difference, if you have M365 Copilot license, the official $30 per month per user thing, you also get this work and web toggle switch here. So I can go back to searching internal assets using enterprise data protection, because this is how our whole larger tenant is configured, or I can search just the web. In fact, you can see even the prompts change that Copilot offers me. It's no longer looking internally. When my work one is here, it's asking me specific things about emails, internal things, what's buried in your inbox. This person is a coworker of mine. Go search that stuff. On the web, the prompts become a little more generic. Okay, so that's the context that you're working in. This is the free Copilot that you all have access to. I'm assuming you've got access to it because you're here on an office hours call. Over here on the left is where agents live. And you can create an agent by going down right here. In fact, let's go do that real quick. And when you click on Create Agent down in the corner, you get a version of Copilot Studio that's going to pop up. And it will give you some choices about how you want to build an agent. Now, I'm not going to build the agent from scratch here, assuming this tool decides to come up today. What I'm going to do is go into one of the agents I built already, and I'll show you one that's built. Then we'll go into one that we can build by scratch. Oh, this is exciting. Heather, this is live demo land we're in here. I love it.
It's always like this, you know?
It's
like
tragic.
Like
It literally worked
the best
without
part,
blinking half an hour ago.
correct. The best part is that everyone on this call has done the exact same thing
Yep.
in some way, shape, or form. Like that's what this crowd. So yeah, while we're waiting, thumbs up, reaction. Who has tried to do this same thing and it just does not cooperate? I used to do it. And when I was a tech, instructional tech coach, people would say to me all the time, they would call me into their room and they would say like, hey, I need to show you this. I need to demo this. Like something's not cooperating. Like this is what I'm getting. And instantly it would start to work then. And they're like, I swear it didn't work. So this is just life. Like this is the way that it goes.
I'll see if in the Windows 11 version it decides to come up quicker. Oh no, it's just assaulting me in either version. And there's the web version spinning away. Well, this is exciting. Can somebody go to their message center and see if there's an outage that I'm unaware of?
Dwayne, is it in the message center? Dwayne.
And if this doesn't come up, I'm going to let it cook on one of my versions and just see if it shows up in the background here. And then I'm going to talk to what I've done over here with these agents, because I can do some of this from the side of my mind. But I really wanted to do a live demo for you guys today. So let me show you Learn from Learn. So this is an agent that I built in my own environment here. It is specific to me. It is shareable to other colleagues in your M365 universe. And this agent is specific for me to be able to accomplish repeatable tasks that I do all the time in my role as a CSAM. And again, if you have a CSAM, you may have asked for this. Give me all the stuff about lifecycle for 2019, Windows Server 2019. So I always go to learn.microsoft.com to find out this information. So what's the difference between this Copilot versus me going to learn.microsoft.com and just searching in there? This takes my ask. So tell me everything about the current life cycle status of Windows Server 2019. So it's going to go out, and I have told it search only learn.microsoft.com. Give me the links, format it in bullet points, make it easy for me, and then I have a little copy button down here that came for free, because that's how this thing worked out of the box. I didn't ask it to do this, and I can just copy this, and then I can shove it into an email and give it to my customers. This saves me minutes every time I do this, and the number of times I do this for customers, especially during meetings, is innumerable during a week, during a month. This is where I realized the power of agents for me. So now I've got an email. I could go over to my inbox, which is floating over here somewhere on screen, and I'll show you what the paste looks like and why this actually is useful for somebody like me. I pop it in here, and suddenly I look like a smart guy. I got footnotes, references, more detailed information, references here. I paste it in, send it to a customer, and it's out the door. Yeah. It takes a lot to build it on your own. If I go to learn.microsoft.com on my own, it struggles. It gives me all the information, but then it depends on me to formulate it, to copy and paste, to pull things together, and put it together neatly for a customer. So for what happened to me in this context is that I found a use case that I knew was going to be valuable for me. I knew I had a reliable data source, and I knew that if I did this, I would actually use this. I would actually use it. This would be a useful tool for me. So learn from learn.microsoft.com, this little agent that I've made was my breakthrough moment for using agents. What's been a failure so far is getting Studio to come up for me. So I don't know why this isn't happening, because I want to be able to show you stuff. Andy Moon, Bill and Opus. That's a lovely old reference there. Dwayne, I don't think I have another way in, do I? Any of my Microsoft friends have a suggestion as to how to get into Studio to edit this stuff? This really has never been stuck like this before.
I mean, I wasn't going to say that, but a fun game that we like to play on our team is explaining things that are older. So for Nick Connon, who we adore, Beaker, Bill and Opus, you know, there he says, here's my penance. Nick Connon, Bill and Opus. That's what we do. That's how we show Nick our love. We remind him that we're all old. That's really more of what it is. It's not about his age.
Oh yeah.
It's really more about ours. That we are ancient. Anybody, any tips? Yeah, some people are getting stuff to pop up in the chat. My favorites
Tragic.
here are. Did you try?
Well,
Sure.
here's where we can work with this, because it's not working for me. But if it's working for you guys, I'm good with that. If you can pull up your Copilot Studio interface online by clicking Create Agent, and I'm gonna stay optimistic here and just let this cook and see if it'll work.
Wayne, do you want to share your screen? If I promote you to presenter?
Yeah, I'll
let
let Steve drive me. Tell me what to do,
Steve,
sir.
Steve
Yeah,
can drive.
I can talk to it.
Teamwork makes the dream work, y'all. We don't say one Microsoft for nothing.
I can't share my screen though.
I'm getting you. Hang on.
Here, I moved me.
I'm making you a presenter. I got you.
There we go.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, go click on Create an Agent. Let's go. This is going to be way cooler. And now I'm just going to yell at them to do it. Okay. So instead of using the describe, which we will get back to, again, if you're looking for some assistance and help in building these things in the parts, I feel like this audience is nerdy enough, experienced enough in Microsoft ecosystem that we can go straight to configure. So let's do that. And I want to focus on a few important parts of this. Number one, you could pick a template up top. Dwayne, don't pick one, but just show the list. There are some possibilities that will help fill stuff in advance, and then you could dive in and alter it, fix it, take care of it. If any of those use cases in that list strikes a chord with you, especially in EDU, the EDU use cases are very interesting compared to corporate ones. So there could be something of interest for you, but we're going to skip that now. Call this Dwayne's agent for Steve. And we're going to rebuild the learn.microsoft.com one real quick. And the description is for you. The description is for a human being to understand what the point of this particular agent is. So find all the stuff only on learn.microsoft.com. I don't want blogs. I don't want partners. I don't want vendors. I just want my stuff. Perfect. That's good enough for now. Neither of those two things has any impact on how the agent works. The next box starts the dance. So the instructions box is where we start telling the agent, I need you to give me professional, polished responses from learn.microsoft.com. Love it. And Dwayne's reading my mind ahead of time. So Dwayne's putting in a description here, and you just keep on going how you're doing this, and I'll speak to it. Dwayne is giving it an identity to speak from. You're a professional consultant. We could have just as well said, you are a pirate on the high seas, and it would have spoken like a pirate on the high seas. I've done it. It's pretty cool. But in this case, we're going to keep the answers professionals because I want to be able to copy and paste this into an email. I'm telling it, focus on learn.microsoft.com, but we're going to additionally focus it even deeper on just learn.microsoft.com. We're going to put it there in the knowledge base. So Dwayne has put in that source. Now, what I have found here is that and obviously if you don't put a URL, but you flip on that web search button, it will search all the web for you for answers. Now that's what I want to exclude. So I'm putting in here learn.microsoft.com specifically in order to focus on certain websites, specifically this one, learn.microsoft.com. I also find that if you go too far, too deep in the slashes and the depth of the website URL, it gets very confused. It doesn't like going deep. It prefers a broader top level URL. You could go one more deep and learn.microsoft.com/something if you wanted to, but that's where it's going to focus. Now, those two boxes, the information box up above and then the knowledge box there, does specifically direct you to, it does change the behavior of the agent, the instructions and the knowledge. Now what Dwayne's typing in is prompts to help you along the way. We're used to Copilot generating these for ourselves. Well, we can build them for ourselves too. I had 3 prompts in mine that basically says, tell me about this Azure product. Tell me about this Copilot product. Tell me about this desktop management product. And because I tend to do those kind of searches all the time for me. So the starter prompts, completely editable. I've seen 6. I don't know can you go past 6 lines in here? You might be able to. 4, 5, 6. Nope, that's it. Okay. So you can create 6 possible quick start. Oh, there you go. You can't add more than 6. I'm so glad we're doing this. To help you shortcut what you're doing. Now, all you're doing, if you go onto the right-hand side, Dwayne, and click on that prompt you just wrote, the title of the prompt is Windows 10 End of Life, but the prompt that gets copy and pasted into the section down below is that. You can modify that. You can add to it. You can just click enter and send it along its way, and it will come back and give you information from learn.microsoft.com. Now, as a Microsoft employee and an account manager, I am focused on this. I want reliable information. I don't want to get it from any other source. I would like this to be here. Oh, and by the way, you've got until October 2025 to get this done. So that wasn't an arbitrary search on Dwayne's part. But this is an example for me of a lot of different things all at once. Number one, it's actually an example of AI helping solve a problem for me personally. You have use cases that are like this, that could be articulated into an agent that are one-off point solutions. This is a droid that works for me. I've narrowed it to learn.microsoft.com. You can narrow it to whatever websites that make sense for you. Are you looking to create a golf swing coach? Are you trying to find out about outages? Do you have a personal need that you're always searching for? You have a hobby that drives what you do. Do you always do searches on certain technologies because that's what your institution, your school, your university, your school district owns, and you're constantly going back to this set of 5 websites? Then define that in the knowledge section and publish it. So now Dwayne's got a Super Steve agent sitting in his list of agents that he can go to at any time from Copilot chat. And there it is. And there's his Windows 10 end of life. And what the heck does any of that mean? And it's going to get the information from learn.microsoft.com. So again, how does this apply to you? It's a specific use case. It's straightforward to use. You can test the heck out of it in Copilot Studio to see whether you like the language, the tone, the formatting of the responses. And along the way, you're learning how to write better prompts. You're learning how AI works in the Copilot ecosystem. And hopefully you're solving a problem that's going to make you either more efficient, more productive, or open your eyes to new ways you could help your user base get involved in AI. For me, Copilot agents is the dime bag. It's the gateway drug for me to get into AI. This is how it works for me. And it gives you additional suggestions along the way. So that's my presentation. Thank you so much for the great teamwork to figure out how to overcome the lame technology live demo thing for me. But let's talk questions. What do you got out there? I see Andy's got a hand up there.
So I just wanted to echo Colleen's question from the chat. Can this search document or SharePoint libraries to pull internal resources?
Yes, if you have, in fact, if we could just as well have turn the focus onto SharePoint easily. I've done it for an internal purpose myself. There's Microsoft commitments to consume Azure, and there's a lot of repositories internally. Many of them are SharePoint libraries, so I can either get a public website, or you can see there, that's where you put your SharePoint URL, and it would go into the bottom part of that knowledge box as an internal for your organization website that you're using, as opposed to a web search list. But yes, you can do this for internal as well as external.
So just want to, okay, a couple of things that Nick and Dwayne are putting in the chat, but also want to just double down on that, and Dwayne or whomever else. Steve mentioned it, but I want to really, I want to be very clear that you heard it. Correct me if I'm wrong, gentlemen. If it is not an external web link, then it may have a cost associated with it, that you would either have the pay-as-you-go pack or a message pack. I just want to be very clear. Am I correct? Yep. I'm getting lots of thumbs up. So is the community all clear on that? Did I say that correctly?
Yeah, this is a web-grounded agent. So this user here, this is Nestor. If you've ever seen me demo before, you might recognize Nestor. Nestor does not have M365 Copilot, so the only thing he can select from is a website that is included with Copilot Chat. Corey, however, has an M365 Copilot license, and his user interface looks just a little bit different. He can actually browse SharePoint sites and type in the URLs of SharePoint sites, and soon also just upload files to the agent. If in certain circumstances the organization decided to enable pay-as-you-go for Copilot Chat agents, then Nestor would be able to locate data on a SharePoint site, which does incur metered stuff. That's the technical term, metered stuff.
Yep.
Metered stuff. Yeah. Just wanted to make sure that was very clear. So that, yeah, but they wouldn't be able to as well if again, correct me if I'm wrong, if it's not turned on for them to be able to do that, they can't.
Yeah, correct. If you have not, like if an admin has not very intentionally gone into the admin center and configured message packs or pay-as-you-go config for Copilot Chat, then your users can only create web-grounded agents, and that is all.
And I know that a lot of you on this call handle the background pieces, so that's stuff to be clear. Nick, I know Walter has his hand up. I don't want to skip you, but Nick, I'm wondering if your comment is in relationship to what we're just talking about.
It is, yeah. The other piece of that is that, say, the M365 user creates an agent just the way that Dwayne and Steve did, and they shared it out with like an M365 group with users who don't have an M365 license. More than likely, they might be able to see the agent, but it won't work, right? It won't be able to use that SharePoint knowledge source, but if it has a public one, it may work for them. But technically what should happen is that the agent, they shouldn't be able to see it and they shouldn't be able to use it. If they do, it'll say access denied, like, ooh, request a license, start a trial, something like that. So you're not going to get a bill. You're not going to get a bill unless, as Dwayne said, you actually physically set it up for them to be able to consume.
Perfect. And I know let's do Walter's question, and then if folks on the team are willing and able to answer some of the questions that have popped up in the chat around this, then we'll circle over to those. But Walter, what you got for us to round it out?
So we created an agent in SharePoint, and we noticed that on a PDF document that was in the SharePoint document library, there was a table essentially in the PDF document. And if you can think of maybe Windows 10, Windows 11, and different feature sets, if you were to ask a question through the Copilot agent, it would be unable to really read the table, if you will. However, if we use the M365 Copilot and sort of uploaded that same PDF, it would be able to do that. Any idea how I can tweak the SharePoint agent to have the capability to read a table within like a PDF or some other document?
I do not know. And I noticed the boys just left me hanging to tell you that.
Well, I mean, I'm still here. Dwayne's still here. But
Only one on camera, so y'all, everybody's
I-
just got to stare at my face.
I think it's still,
that I don't know. Do you have an answer? Anyone?
I
I
don't,
haven't
but I've
tested
seen,
the behavior.
Okay.
yeah, I need to look at it too, but I've seen it before. Like it's even doing weird things for me now. It could be that because it's an image and not an actual table, but the images should be able to be taken care of by the GPT model, but yet they're not. I've seen the weird stuff over the last couple of weeks through a lot of customers with that same type of thing, not necessarily an agent in SharePoint, but just utilizing a SharePoint library that has that type of information and it's not looking at it. I do know Excel files, it likes it better. Copilot likes it if you have defined tables in the Excel file rather than just worksheets with table data in it, but not a defined table. Copilot tends to like defined tables in Excel documents a lot better to be able to find those objects and be able to query against them through natural language and reply back using the agent itself.
All right. Well, thank you.
I had a similar problem that I was able to solve by going to that PDF and trying to click on it to edit. And so then it had to transcribe or whatever it does to make everything it read the text essentially. And then after I saved it and synced it back up, my Copilot was able to go through there and read through the table.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to be careful with PDFs because not all PDFs are created equal. Sometimes the PDF is a giant picture that the Xerox machine created when somebody scanned it or who knows what.
Sometimes it's text.
Yeah, and sometimes it's text. If you can drag your mouse and highlight the text, then it's legible text that the large language model could ingest.
Yeah, I've experienced that when trying to highlight things that I read for class. So that's not always fun. All right. Well, thank you, Steve. I know you vanished on me. I know you're on the call, but thank you, Steve. I appreciate your vulnerability in, saying like, hey, it took you some time. Like, I mean, that's the reality. Like,
there's a lot going on. We keep renaming stuff in the middle of it all too. So we're just making it so easy for people to
You're
sort
late
this
to
out,
that
right?
joke on office hours. We've been doing that for years. But yes, it is. Thank you all. We're like Steve said, we eat our own dog food, which is the ugliest term, but we're asked to be, like agent zero or whatever, and user, I don't know what they even say, but we have to do that. And so it is difficult at times. And yeah, of course Steve can come back. Steve is always, you were asked, they said, can you come back? And we were like, yes. So we would love to have Steve back. And in the meantime, we'll say peace out for everybody until next week. Remember, we are doing 6 degrees of office hours for Shenanafoolery. Bring your celebrity connection stories and be prepared because I shall call you out if you throw a really good one in the chat. So that's what I've got for you. And we'll get this posted on YouTube, or Heather will as soon as she has a second to breathe. And then I'll get it up there. And we'll see ya. Bye, everybody.
See ya.